So welcome to an Origin of Energy lifestyle clip. We're just doing an interview with Mark, and we're at a farm just up in Marawa, Papanui, and it's a beautiful farm. We've got all these chickens around us, these egg-laying hens.
They're eating me.
And we've driven up for the day, and it was a nice, beautiful 4-hour drive. But we've come here to see this beautiful chicken tractor. It's kind of it's a bus chicken shelter. And just to interview Mark and to see how he's running this beautiful business. So how long have you been doing this now with utilising the system where you're following the...
Well, about 7 years.
7 years? Yeah. And it's been a transition going into this. And
yeah, we started off very slowly with 50 chooks in an old caravan.
Yep.
So we've progressed to a school bus now. So we've got 500 in a school bus instead.
Yeah, oh, it's awesome. It's so amazing. And this is real free ranging. You know, you hear about all the chickens that, you know, the eggs that people buy and they're free range, they're so-called free range, but really they're just in these big sheds, and you know, they've got a bit of open area around them, but it's not truly free range. Whereas these guys get a chance to really run around, get lots of bugs, and you can see lots of butterflies flying around, and they get all the sun, so they're getting the vitamin D, and they're really enjoying the pasture as well. So why did you start this method? And
well, I was inspired by Joel Salatin's writings.
Yep.
He spoke about an eggmobile, he called it. And,
yep.
So that was sort of where the idea came from. And but demand from customers has made us just increase the size of the operation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. We never seem to keep up with demand, but you know.
Yeah. And it's not an easy thing to do. You know, it's very labour intensive, and you've really got to go out of your way to really make a difference and to be able to do this effectively. And it's really just up to, like we spoke today, is about the consumer, you know, utilising their dollar to really vote for people that are doing things like this, to support them, so that way it goes back into the land and goes back to the farmer. And it's been great just coming up here and seeing the land and understanding the extremes of the Australian climate as well. So it's been tough for you because you were talking about the droughts and stuff like that, so it makes it a lot harder to do it in this environment and to make it worthwhile. But so you follow the cattle, or you go across the land and stuff like that. So what was like with Joel? It's to bring the fertility of the soil up, and also to make the most of the land with the polyculture system.
Yeah, it's really it's just a win-win, really. I mean, where the chooks have been, they increase the pasture growth, so the cattle benefit from that. And where the cattle have been, they increase the amount of bugs that are in the cow patch and things
for the chicks.
For the chicks to feed on. So generally speaking, the chooks are following behind the cattle in a planned rotational grazing system. You know, and maybe the chooks are 3 days to 2 weeks behind the cattle, depending where we are.
So Joel likes that 3-day thing with the fly cycle being 4 days, so he gets in there 3 days where the maggots are the biggest.
If you can.
But it's not worked that way. You've got quite a big area of land here.
Yeah.
So what's the size of your farm here? It's
880 hectares.
Yeah, so it's a big property. Yeah, so it's a lot to manage, but the conditions here, like you were talking about, are a lot different than what Joel Salatin has. And
well, we have the extremes of climate, droughts and long droughts, and they go on for years and years. So, and then we have big rain events, and you can't move. I mean, and trying to move that when you've had 3 inches of rain,
it's not going anywhere.
No, it's not going anywhere. So you just try to get it
to work with the environment as best you can.
Just try to get it right as many times as you can, but you never quite get it right.
But it's just all, it's just
But it's about it's really about the animals. It's what kind of lifestyle they have, and about the product, you know. So
and they're very happy.
Happy.
These guys are out there just having fun. You know, we've been to a few different farms, and these are probably the happiest chooks we've seen so far. And then you also have the guard dog that comes out. Where's she? Oh yeah. And then that way you got the animal labourers working with the team. There's one going over there.
She's hiding in the grass. You see it?
Yeah, you see the white butt sticking up in the air. So the animals do the work by helping out as well, which is great. And then you've got them working for you, fertilising the soil.
Yep.
And then you've got the byproduct of the eggs, which are just amazing. They're phenomenal eggs. And you were talking about the scales with the moisture. That you, the
brittleness
scale.
The
brittleness scale. Yeah.
Alan Savory's.
Yeah.
That's his measure of the environment, and we're a reasonably brittle environment for those that are aware of that scale. But
so you were saying from where was it from?
Well, we might be called a 5, and Burke might be called a 4, and then maybe Virginia might be called an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, so it's got a lot more moisture there, and then with even though they have the full winter, and then they have those extremes as well, which obviously creates other different challenges.
It does, yes.
But then it's just a matter of trying to find the best way to get this going here. But it's like a big thing with Joel that I think is so amazing, that he's trying to inspire the young people to really get out in the land and start experimenting and just observing and coming up with stuff like this. This is great. Just how this whole system works is just phenomenal, and the ingenuity in it is just it's so great to see. Especially when people are just trying to make money and they're just using these factory systems, and it's really just and this is the thing that gets the least amount of respect. Whereas the way you've designed this is purely for them to have the best possible life. So it's a total 180 degrees on
trying to work with nature rather than against it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like fertilising around instead of putting poison on it. It's just you're going to spend $1, spend a positive $1.
Yeah.
So
oh, it's awesome. Maybe one more thing I'd really like to get out there with the public is educating them about what truly like organic standards and certifications, and like what you're doing here. And you don't have an organic certification, but to me this is far superior to all the organic farms that I've visited. And the thing is, it's just so that they understand that you're working with an extreme environment, and then the parameters in which you've got to fit in to get that certification, to get, because people are paying more for organics, but they don't really realise, what they're paying for and where those standards come from.
So they might not be getting a healthier product.
No, definitely not. Like these chickens are far healthier than any of the other farms that we've visited. And Pete, who's doing a great job as well, and he's got a lot of pasture there. From Oaks Organics, he had very healthy chickens there, and it was great because he had a nice open space. But a lot of the other ones, it's quite challenging, because people think they're getting a superior product by paying for organics. But me and Alana can say we've opened biodynamic organic eggs, and the yolks, are very sinewy. The egg itself, the eggshell itself, is not very hard, and you can just see that there's not as much nutrition in it. And people are paying top dollar for this, and people like yourself that really, I really feel that need to be recognised for taking.
My feeling is that the organic is it's nearly a marketing tool, and unfortunately, so.
Yeah.
But it would be a lot easier if we were organic. For that reason, we could go to a shop and say, would you like to sell our eggs? And they say, are you organic? And we say, oh yeah. Whereas I have to explain.
But that whole method of organic is really, that whole system, that certification depends on the ignorance of, the public, because they're not educated as to what people are actually doing and what that certification means.
Yes.
And then things like this don't really, allow for that. Yeah. So thank you so much for today.
No worries.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful thing to see that people are really
thanks for coming
working with nature. See you next time, guys.